Hey, James, Father's Rights and Resources, hashtag how I got custody. You need to follow your conscience in your family court case. Forget the stuff that I'm saying, or, you guys who get offended that I talk harshly, that you need to grow some balls and aggressively fight in a war. You think you should be able to tiptoe through the tulips and prance around. Forget the stuff that I'm saying. Throw it all out the window. When you're sitting down and an attorney tells you, don't do contempt, don't go for full custody, don't go for 50-50, you don't have a chance of that. Look at the factors in the law in your state. Google Connecticut factors, custody, best interest of the child, Texas factors, California factors, Montana factors, whatever state you're in. Google the factors for determining custody, and it will say something like the best interest of the child. Like a lot of you guys, you read the statute and say, oh, I know the statute's the best interest of the child. No, that's not just it. Go read the law when you have a case in a court of law and you have an attorney at law helping you for your lawful rights. Go read the law. In criminal court, a public defender for free will tell you what your lawful rights are, what the sentencing range is, and you're fully informed. Go read the law and then think of what listen to your conscience. Don't listen to me. Listen to your conscience. You know why I say this? Because I followed my conscience and I disregarded what everybody else said, and I got full custody and got the mother found in contempt and won in the Court of Appeals and scared off a bunch of attorneys and scared off a bunch of guardian ad litems. The first attorney, the first guardian ad litem, they both testified and said next time we went to court for a modification, they both said, I can't come on board. I don't want to do that. James is too aggressive and all this other, they tried to project blame on me. They were scared. They didn't want to be part of the case. So when I sit down and listen to you guys and you weren't caught up in the bullshit, like a lot of you guys get caught up in the bullshit. Like, well, my attorney says, and the judge says, and the lawyer says, and the psychologist says, and the guardian ad litem says. And you admit, when I sit down and talk to you, that they're all corrupt. And then you want to follow the corrupt people, and you don't listen to your conscience. And then I sit down and talk to guys and say, do you think your child deserves both parents? Like, here's a great example. Let's say you go look at the law, and most of you guys have a law in your state that says one of the factors, you have the law, and then you have factors in the law. Like, Illinois has 17 factors under, 750/5, or is it 5/750? I think it's 602.3 or 602.5, 602.7. Has like 17 factors, and Florida has factors up to letter Q, which is like 17 or something. Washington is RCW 2690002, 187, 191. It defines parenting functions under 004. So most states have 10, 15, 20 list of factors, and they might be which parent has performed parenting duties, which parent has the greater bond with the kids, or just the bonds with the parents, which parent makes good decisions, which parent puts kids first, which parent is willing to facilitate a relationship with the other parent, and the geographical proximities to the parents, and the parent's ability to understand any special needs of the kids. These are the type of things. So one of the lines is geographical proximity, and let's say you live within 2 miles of the mother. It takes 10 minutes to walk to her place. It takes a couple minutes to get to her place. The law says geographical proximity. In your conscience, are you thinking that you have a good setup for 50-50? I have some guys who live like down the block or really close, and they're every other weekend. And 100% of them say, why can't I have 50-50? That's your conscience speaking. That's logic speaking. This is obviously what's the best scenario. That's what makes sense. That's what sticks in my spirit or my mind or my soul or my conscience. When I was in court, people told me Goldberg and Jones, I have a video on them on my YouTube channel where I bash them and expose them. This is the stuff that you guys don't do. There's millions of you out there, and 100% of you say that I should do a million videos about every single attorney and all this other stuff. And you could be exposing them, and we could be exposing them all and fixing the system, like I said in a previous video. But you guys want me to do it because you're too much a bunch of pussies to do it yourself. And I'm sitting here, and I have videos exposing attorneys on other cases. So if you did what I did, and you expose every attorney and every judge that you come across as corrupt or guardian ad litem, we would be exposing them all, but you want to wait on somebody else to do it. Back to your conscience, though. Just forget all that. Your conscience is telling you, wait a minute, your kids need both parents. If the kid only has one parent, the kid suffers. Or let's say you read all the your father, and you've read all the statistics about absent dads. And dad's inability to, children's inability to, process things or develop properly, or the dangers of kids living a life without a dad. And you know deep down that your children will suffer if you don't get 50-50 or you don't get custody. And your attorney says, oh, we can't do that. And why does your attorney usually say that? Oh, that's the way that it is. This judge is a pro-mother judge, or this is the way that it is. So your attorney is saying, we got to cater to the prejudice of the court. Just like I always say, or talk about, or give the example. You have a public defender in the Jim Crow South. And the public defender says, you need to cop a plea, or you're going to get the electric chair if you're a black man in the South. And you say, wait a minute, I didn't rape that white woman. They're like, yeah, but this jury is they hate you. 3 of them are in the Klan. This judge is well known to is a retired Grand Wizard from the Klan. You're going to get the electric chair if you don't cop a plea to 20 years in prison. That's a deal, believe me. So your public defender is catering to the prejudice of the court. You guys need to wake the F up. You can't cater to a bunch of evil demons and get a good, righteous result. You can't cater to the culture and the prejudice and distorted, twisted views of people. You can't cater to that and then have a good result. You have to fight it. And nobody's fighting the system, so it's not going away. Everybody loves I got a guy who keeps fighting me and arguing with me about the system's unconstitutional, James. You don't care about truth. I acknowledge the system's unconstitutional. But screw that. We need to fight the warfare that's available to us and use the tools that's available to us to fight the war of attrition and to get results for dads. This other guy is defending Lionel from child support as fraud and saying, oh, he's right and you're wrong, James. I have never had anybody give me feedback and talk with Lionel, and they got answers that actually worked on their case. I just talked to somebody the other day, and he said all he got was a line of crock, and didn't really get anything. But he got a lot out of my phone call. And so the court is corrupt. The system is corrupt. You have to go and make the proper arguments in court, but your attorney won't try and make the proper arguments. The attorney won't follow the law, and then you want to listen to all these other people, but not your conscience. So I talked to Goldberg and Jones, said, you'll get every other weekend. I said, I live 3 blocks from the mother, and I work at night. I should have my daughter during the day. And they said, you'll probably still get it every other weekend. Then I went to court. I got 0 visitation. I appealed from a commissioner to a judge, and then I got 5 days a week. Why? Because I followed my conscience. Everybody out there says, dads, don't do a contempt motion. That's really an aggressive move. I did a contempt motion because the law says contempt is a violation of a court order when it's done in bad faith and it's willful. When my baby's mom was withholding my child from me, she's looking at me in court and laughing at me, and then the judge comes out and then she sheds tears. So she's lying and abusing the system, and I'm not supposed to stand up to her? And I'm not supposed to use the law in a court of law to my favor? I'm not supposed to tell the truth? I followed my conscience, and I got her found in contempt. And I got on the offensive, even though it was politically incorrect, to get on the offensive against a mother. And I won over and over and over again, to the surprise of everybody. Follow your conscience. and then watch my videos.